Welcome back to another weekly Web3 digest by Magnet and from your host, Jacob Block, the founder of Magnet. Now, I'm sorry that I haven't been sticking to the weekly schedule of getting these videos out. I've been traveling around Asia. Currently, I'm in Thailand. And yeah, schedule's been off a little bit, but I will fix that soon. Apologies. The second thing I wanted to say is that we still release a weekly Web3 digest every single week, but the written version on growwithmag.net. So if you want your dose of Web3 for the week provided to you by Magnet with that little growth twist, then make sure to head over to growwithmag.net and you will gain access to that. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's get into the digest. So I'm going to read this, right? Because I love this introduction. The past week in Web3 had everything. $1 trillion doors opening for crypto, long-awaited courtroom wins, whales doubling down on memes, and of course, ETH smashing through that $4,000 resistance level. And I wanted to make sure that I got all of those points out in this video because they're all amazing. And stuff is looking pretty bullish right now. Ethereum needs to move, we all know that, and it has really started to after not performing for the last couple of years. On top of that, there's further movement on the top end of the tree, things that are going to really impact the crypto market. And also, we're getting wins left, right, and center. So it's a great time to be in this industry. This weekly Web3 digest is going to be packed full of a lot of value. Let's get into it. So the first point is that Trump has signed something that could enable people to invest in crypto through their 401ks. This is a $12 trillion market, $12 trillion. So where people can, save in their pensions and so on at the moment, maybe put it into stocks and bonds and all this sort of stuff, Trump's trying to push to allow crypto to also be invested in. And this would be humongous because we could see $1 trillion extra coming into the market through 401ks. And as the world lives on, the younger population are very used to holding digital assets. Not everyone, but the general theme is that the younger guys like to hold digital assets. They understand it is their world. And they're building their 401ks right now, so they're probably going to have a much bigger appetite to want to hold things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, these newer assets, over assets that have underperformed over the last few decades. The second point here, and we've spoke about this a little bit before on other videos, is Ripple. And Ripple have finally put an end to their case and battle with the SEC, settling for $125 million, which in the grand scheme of how big Ripple is a huge win. And this will now, hopefully for Ripple holders, enable the next stage of growth for the project. I mean, Ripple's more than just a project now, if I use that terminology, but you get the gist of it. This was something that was that dark cloud hanging over Ripple's head and Ripple's potential. Now it's completely gone, it's completely eradicated. But what this really does is it gives a site of regulatory compromise within the crypto industry. So this is a good sign that other projects that started to kind of get tarnished with the same brush as Ripple, where the SEC might have sent them letters or started to go after them for certain things, and those cases, or for what Ripple might have been getting, and for the things that Ripple were getting accused of, now there's been compromise that gives a little bit more of a green light for other projects that could have found themselves or did find themselves in Ripple's position. So it's not just a win for Ripple, it's also a win for the whole crypto space. The next point is that whales are still backing meme coins. Meme coins such as BONK, PENGU, DOGE, they've seen big inflows in the last few weeks. So I've always had the opinion, and this is just my opinion, that meme coins are to stay. They're a culture of crypto. However, there's very few coins that will really lead the path and the way in. We've seen some of those bigger whales start to load up in the markets that have thicker liquidity. These guys aren't looking for a 50x like you would if you were trying to buy a meme coin on, I don't know, Pump, right? These guys are doubling up in the bigger meme coins, which shows belief in meme coins as a sector, but in a less risky way than trying to pick something up at a 10K market cap. They're doubling up on the big meme coins, which maybe they know something that no one else does. Who knows? But Meme coins still performing, the top end of meme coins. Let me know what your opinions are on meme coins currently in the comments. Fourth point, Ethereum breaks that $4,000 level. You can see how happy I am to finally see the day again where Ethereum is back above $4,000. Amazing run over the last 5 to 6 weeks. I've loved watching every single part of it. We finally got through that 4,000 resistance level. And now let's see what happens. First things first, is ETH going to test all-time high? Is it going to break through that all-time high? I think it's around $4,700. Let's see what happens there. And then, yeah, do we get there? Do we not? Do we go through that and go into price discovery? Time will tell, but either way, we all know that Ethereum needs to really move for this to be a positive thing for the rest of the market, and Ethereum is moving. So again, it's one of those things which is a huge win for Ethereum, but it can also be a win for the rest of the crypto market as well. Maybe we start to catch those rotations if ETH does go and break all-time highs. And the other point I want to mention here is that Bitcoin's dominance in comparison to ETH is slowly dropping and dropping. And in previous cycles, when this has happened, that's what's enabled the cycle to really kick off. So we don't know what's going to happen in crypto, but if we look at the signs, we look at the historic data, it's looking all right. But anyway, that's all we have time for this week on the weekly Web3 Digest. A lot of really good points there. I'm happy creating these videos when there's stat full of this sort of value and positivity. It's summer, it's meant to be slow. It's not, it feels like we're making some building blocks towards a brighter future for this industry. So yeah, keep building if you're building. If you're trenching, keep trenching, stay in the loop because things are happening. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next weekly Web3 Digest.